He painted the Australian desert like no one before him, and paid a heartbreaking price for his success. This is the untold story of Albert Namatjira. Albert Namatjira, born on the 28th of July 1902 and passing on the 8th of August 1959, was a pioneering Indigenous Australian artist whose watercolor landscapes really transformed the recognition of Aboriginal art in Australia and, even abroad. A member of the Western Arrernte, or Arrernte, people of Central Australia, Namatjira became one of the first Indigenous Australians to achieve widespread fame within the Western art world. His work is celebrated for its technical skill, emotional depth, and a profound connection to land, while his life story reflects the broader struggles faced by Aboriginal people under Australia's colonial and assimilationist policies. Albert Namatjira was born Elea Namatjira at the Hermannsburg Lutheran Mission, or Nataria, near the Finca River in the Northern Territory. The mission was established by German Lutheran missionaries and functioned as a place of religious instruction, education, and cultural regulation for the local Arrernte people. Growing up in this environment, Namatjira was exposed to both traditional Arrernte culture and European Christian values, learning to navigate two distinct and, honestly, often conflicting worlds. From an early age, Namatjira developed an intimate knowledge of the Central Australian landscape. He learned traditional skills such as tracking, hunting, and wood carving, and absorbed the cultural significance of land through Arrernte lore and storytelling. These formative experiences deeply influenced his later art, which reflected not only physical geography, but also cultural belonging and spiritual connection to country. In 1920, Namatjira married Rubina, a woman from a neighbouring Arrernte group. Because the marriage did not conform to mission rules, the couple lived outside the Hermannsburg Mission for several years. During this period, Namatjira worked as a camel driver, stockman, and labourer, travelling extensively across Central Australia. These journeys strengthened his relationship with the land and expanded the range of landscapes that would later appear in his paintings. Eventually, Namatjira returned to the Hermannsburg Mission, where he became involved in local crafts, particularly wood carving. His artistic potential had not yet fully emerged, but his keen eye for detail and form was already evident. A turning point in Namatjira's life occurred in 1934, when Australian artist Rex Batterby visited Hermannsburg. Batterby, who painted landscapes in watercolor, recognized Namatjira's interest in art and introduced him to European painting techniques. Under Batterby's guidance, Namatjira learned the fundamentals of watercolor painting, including composition, perspective, color mixing, and the handling of light and shadow. Unlike many artists trained in Western traditions, Namatjira applied these techniques to landscapes he knew intimately. He painted the McDonnell Ranges, riverbeds, ghost gums, and desert plains not as distant scenery, but as lived and remembered places. This unique synthesis of Western technique and Indigenous knowledge became the defining feature of his art. Albert Namatjira is most closely associated with the Hermannsburg School, a movement of Indigenous artists who adopted watercolor painting under European influence while maintaining strong cultural connections to land. His style is characterized by, precise draftsmanship, clear perspective, and spatial depth, rich but naturalistic color palettes, dramatic contrasts of light and shadow, and detailed renderings of geological formations and vegetation. While his works appear realistic, they are not purely representational. Namatjira's paintings communicate a deep sense of respect, familiarity, and belonging to country. The absence of human figures in many of his landscapes has been interpreted as emphasizing the enduring presence of land itself as a living entity. Namatjira's first major exhibition took place in 1938 in Melbourne, where his work was met with critical and commercial success. The exhibition marked the first time a Central Australian Aboriginal artist gained such recognition within mainstream Australian art circles. His paintings sold rapidly, and demand for his work increased dramatically. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Namatjira became a household name. His paintings were exhibited across Australia and internationally, including in Europe and North America. They were collected by major institutions, private collectors, and prominent public figures. Queen Elizabeth II later acquired one of his works, further cementing his status as a national icon. Despite earning significant income from his art, Namatjira did not enjoy the freedoms typically associated with financial success. Under Australian law at the time, Aboriginal people were considered wards of the state and were subject to strict government control. Namatjira's earnings were managed by authorities, and his personal autonomy remained severely limited. His fame placed him under intense public scrutiny, while simultaneously isolating him from both Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. Expectations placed upon him, as an artist, cultural representative, and provider for extended family, created immense personal pressure. In 1957, after years of public campaigning, Namatjira was granted restricted Australian citizenship, making him the first Aboriginal person in the Northern Territory to receive such status. This allowed him limited rights, including the ability to own property and purchase alcohol. However, these rights did not extend to his family or community, leaving him caught between two legal systems. In 1958, Namatjira was charged with supplying alcohol to a relative, an act that was illegal for Aboriginal people under the law. Despite the complex social obligations imposed by Arrernte culture, he was found guilty and sentenced to 2 months in prison. The conviction sparked widespread outrage and became a symbol of the systemic discrimination faced by Indigenous Australians. Namatjira's imprisonment had a devastating impact on his physical and mental health. Shortly after his release, he was hospitalized, suffering from heart disease. He died on the 8th of August, 1959, at Alice Springs Hospital, aged 57. His death was mourned across Australia and prompted renewed discussion about racial inequality and the treatment of Indigenous people. He was buried at Hermannsburg, near the land that inspired much of his life's work. Albert Namatjira's legacy has continued to grow since his death. He is widely regarded as one of the most important figures in Australian art history and a trailblazer for Indigenous artists working within and beyond Western traditions. His influence can be seen in the continued success of the Hermannsburg School, increased recognition of Indigenous fine art, and broader acceptance of Aboriginal artists in mainstream galleries. In 2017, the Australian government posthumously restored Namatjira's citizenship rights, formally acknowledging the injustice he endured. Albert Namatjira's life and work occupy a unique place in Australia's cultural narrative. His art challenged prevailing stereotypes about Aboriginal creativity and intelligence, demonstrating that Indigenous artists could master Western techniques while expressing deeply rooted cultural perspectives. Today, his paintings are held in major public collections, studied in schools and universities, and celebrated as expressions of both artistic excellence and cultural resilience. Albert Namatjira remains not only a master landscape painter, but also a powerful symbol of the struggle for recognition, dignity, and justice for Indigenous Australians. If this story moved you, inspired you, or taught you something new, make sure you subscribe, because powerful stories like Albert Namatjira's deserve to be remembered, shared, and never forgotten.